Another iconic American company just went full woke, and now they're receiving the Bud Light treatment. And I must admit, usually these things do not catch me by surprise anymore. But this one caught me off guard because the company I am talking about is Harley Davidson. Now, if this was a soy plant-based meat company or something like that, I don't think anyone would be surprised. I don't think anyone would care if they go woke. But this is Harley Davidson. You know, when I think of Harley Davidson, I think of the opposite of woke. There's nothing more anti-woke than hopping on your hog and blasting down the interstate. You know what I mean? Harley Davidson is the exact opposite of woke. Yet, folks, I've been looking into it, and this is worse than the Bud Light situation. It is much worse. Their CEO, some say he has gone full woke. I would say that he was woke the entire time, but he was just in the closet. He was hiding. He was hiding until he gained enough power to try to implement all of this new stuff. But this guy has been donating and funding a lot of weird, questionable things, including transing children and things of that nature. I mean, it always has to deal with stuff like that, right? Why is it? When you look into this woke nonsense, regardless of what it is or where it's at the end of the day, you can circle it back around to these people being obsessed with kids, wanting the approval of little kids, wanting to expose whatever weird stuff they like to do to little kids, wanting to give little kids the power to make crazy decisions at a young age that will affect them forever. It always circles back to the kids. But let's go ahead and dive into this article and let's see what's going on here, because this is disgusting. Furious bikers turn on Harley Davidson boss for going woke after he publicly promoted DEI programs, LGBT policies, and climate change issues. So right off the bat, folks, it's a threefer. It's a 3-for-1, okay? Every single thing that most of you all stand against, the CEO of Harley Davidson, he's promoting it. He's funding it. It's absolutely sick. Furious bikers have turned their back on iconic motorcycle maker Harley Davidson, accusing its CEO of going woke. The growing movement, spearheaded by conservative influencer Robbie Starbuck, cites that the CEO's support for hardline policies on trans care for kids, critical race theory, and climate change and diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Starbuck is now demanding the company drop its CEO and is rallying motorcycle enthusiasts to his cause at the largest bikers event in the world, the 84th Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in South Dakota. Amid the uproar, Starbucks said that the pressure is mounting on the Harley Davidson board of directors to fire the CEO. At this point, it's an act of self-preservation for Harley to reserve on wokeness. If they don't, the brand is going to suffer in ways they can't recover from anytime soon. Word is spreading among bikers, MMA circles, and now men are joking with other men about them owning Harleys. But as the CEO retained his position, Starbuck vowed on Sunday to investigate the other members of the board. They don't seem to care that the CEO is destroying the Harley Davidson brand, and I'm curious as to why. Starbuck has accused the CEO in a nearly 10-minute long video of having a total commitment to DEI policies in Harley Davidson offices and the factories that make its trademark heavyweight bikes, which are designed for cruising on the highways. This includes funding a recent Pride event in Pennsylvania with face painting and balloon twisting events for youngsters, as well as a rage room where adults could let off steam, he says. The biker maker has also partnered with political groups that push hard left ideas, including the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber of Commerce, United Way, and the Human Rights Campaign. Harley Davidson Money has therefore promoted gender-changing procedures on children and anti-racism efforts against white people, whiteness, and Christian privilege. The DEI efforts inside of Harley have changed life inside the company of some 6,400 people. Up to 1,800 employees were trained on how to become an alphabet ally, while some sessions singled out white men for specific diversity training. Now imagine that. You're working at a company, busting your behind for the company, and they make you sit down at seminars and watch videos explaining to you why you're a bad person because of the color of your skin. Explaining to you that you're the enemy of everyone else, that you are a bad person simply because you were born white. And we must reprogram you into being an ally for BIPOCs and the alphabet community. Imagine that. You work hard all day, you're just trying to get the bills paid, and you got to go to work, literally working for this company, and they're telling you, hey, you're a bad person, and we got to retrain you into being a good person. That's just, it's so sick and twisted. Got to be one of the most twisted things happening right now in our society, but it's overlooked. No one really cares because it's happening to white men. But let's go forward. The company also introduced employee resource groups which separate staff along racial, gender, and sexual identity lines. Additionally, the motorcycle company is gradually cutting its number of white employees, suppliers, and dealers. Under the CEO, the company also signed into a human rights campaign letter that was meant to scare states away from passing laws that ban sex changes for kids and ban men from being able to follow girls into bathrooms. So not only is Harley Davidson laying off white people for no reason, the white people who are left, they have to go through re-education camp basically at work. And the CEO is donating all of the money that these employees are generating for the company. The CEO is donating this money to random organizations, random lawmakers and politicians, ensuring that kids will be able to go and lop off parts of their body in order to appease these woke, sadistic weirdos that are obsessed with little kids. And this is why, folks, I say that this is so much worse than Bud Light. Don't get me wrong, Bud Light was bad, okay? The Bud Light situation, oh boy, was it bad. But it doesn't really hold a candle to this. Sure, Bud Light put out Dylan Mulvaney for a little ad drinking their beer. Sure, it was too much. I get it. But this? Harley Davidson is not only preaching wokeness and virtue signaling with wokeness, they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're pumping millions and millions of dollars into assuring that your kids can be trapped by their mental programming nonsense. They're trying to make sure that kids everywhere will be able to do some really heinous things to their body that they're going to regret in the future. And I just think that's disgusting. You make motorcycles, dude. Focus on motorcycles. You shouldn't be involved in social issues or politics at all, let alone the most extreme, radical social issues of all. But that's what's happening with these companies. And it's not just Harley. It's almost every company you can think of. The only problem is, you see, Harley is a company that has always appealed to people who aren't like those weirdos. And now they're realizing, wait, this company that we've loved and adored for years, all of these motorcycles we've purchased, it turns out this company absolutely hates us and absolutely loves perving on children. But let's go forward. Harley Davidson seems to have forgotten who their core customers are. I don't think the values at corporate reflect the values of nearly any Harley Davidson bikers. Do Harley riders want the money they spend at Harley to be used later by corporate to push an ideology that's diametrically opposed to their own values? Exactly. Now, I want to be clear here. Some people feel differently than me. Some people take things to more of an extreme level than I do. Personally, everyone's allowed to have their own politics. I don't think that Harley Davidson should be involved in politics, but they don't have to necessarily 100% align with my values. That's not what this is about for me. You don't have to be on the right. You don't have to be on this side or that side, in order for me to support a company. But when you're just blatantly out here attacking your own customer base, you're making life a living hell for your white employees, and you're funding a lot of weird stuff, that's when things go too far. Like, you're allowed to have your own beliefs and what have you. But I draw the line where, when a company is starting to fund transitioning children and things along those lines, that's where I draw the line. If you want to donate to the Kamala Harris campaign, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, we got to boycott this company. But when you take things this far, then I think something needs to be said, right? And folks, I want you all to understand, this is my first video on the topic. I've been watching this situation play out for a couple of days. It's much worse than what you have heard in this video so far. I'm just scratching the surface, but I'm going to be digging. I'm going to be researching. I'm going to be looking, because I've already found some things that are highly disturbing. That in a world where you think nothing can surprise you, I assure you, you will be surprised by some of the things going on behind the scenes at Harley Davidson. It will make you never look at a motorcycle the same way again, I assure you. So for now, I want to know what you think about this in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell, because like I said, we're going to dig all into this. But with all of that being said, I'll talk to you all in the next one.